Welcome to the Nation of History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Former President Theodore Roosevelt was hit on October 14, 1912, during his presidential campaign. The projectile remained lodged in his chest, as shown by the X-ray from the time. Doctors chose not to remove it because they believed surgery would be riskier, allowing Roosevelt to continue his campaign despite what happened. The growing conflict in Vietnam culminated on May 7, 1975, with the escalation of fighting in the southwestern part of Saigon, showing the advance of communist forces that would result in the city's fall. This event marked the end of the Vietnam War, completely transforming the geopolitics of Southeast Asia. More than 3,300 Vietnamese orphans were evacuated in 1975 during Operation Baby Lift, a humanitarian milestone near the end of the Vietnam War that sought to protect vulnerable children from instability and growing conflict. This action enabled international adoption and saved many lives amid the collapse of the local regime. A boy enjoys an ice cream while sitting on a sea mine on Deal Beach in Kent in February 1940 during World War II. Mines like this were used to protect coastlines, making the British shore a crucial defense line against enemy invasions in that global conflict. Guy Miller, a pilot during World War II, managed to land the B-17 bomber Sweet Pea even after it suffered severe damage in 1944. This feat symbolizes the resilience of Allied crew members who faced extreme risks to maintain the air superiority essential for victory in the conflict. A Volkswagen Beetle emerges among the ruins of Berlin in 1945, symbolizing the damage caused by World War II in Germany. The city, the target of intense air attacks, experienced the effects of the conflict, which ended with the fall of the German regime and the beginning of European reconstruction. After the end of World War II in 1945, millions of displaced people crossed destroyed bridges in search of refuge. This exodus marked the rebuilding of devastated Europe, showing the humanitarian crisis that encouraged the creation of international organizations to protect refugee rights and rebuild countries. Soldiers of the 94th Infantry Division operated an armored vehicle in Germany in 1945, during the final phase of World War II. This division actively took part in the liberation of territories occupied by German forces, contributing to the defeat of the German regime and the end of the conflict in Europe. A German soldier was taken prisoner in 1944 on the coast of Normandy after D-Day, the operation that marked the beginning of Western Europe's liberation in World War II. This event was crucial in weakening the German regime and speeding up the end of the conflict, changing the course of world history. Acrobats perform on a tank for Soviet troops in April 1945, shortly before the end of World War II in Europe. This kind of demonstration helped maintain soldiers' morale during intense fighting against the German army, culminating in the Soviet victory over Berlin in May, a decisive milestone in the end of the conflict. Nurses and patients watched the air battles between the Royal Air Force and the German Air Force that marked the Battle of Britain in August 1940. This confrontation was crucial because it prevented the German invasion and secured British resistance during World War II. London students practiced civil protection measures in 1938, receiving training to face possible chemical emergencies during the tension before World War II. These actions reflected the growing fear of air attacks, motivating the construction of underground shelters to protect lives in the approaching conflict. Cats were important during World War II in the United Kingdom, especially in 1941, when reinforced steel boxes like this were created to protect them during bombings. They helped control pests, contributing to the health and safety of civilians in wartime. Manfred von Richthofen, known as the Red Baron, stood out during World War I as a German fighter pilot in 1917. His reputation contributed to the evolution of aerial warfare, influencing tactics and the strategic importance of controlling the skies in that global conflict. A young United States Navy officer and his wife wait quietly on the dock in San Diego, about to say goodbye before deployment to the Korean War, a conflict that began in 1950 and marked an important American intervention against communist expansion in Asia, reinforcing the policy of containment during the Cold War. Frank Hurley captured soldiers marching in single file toward the front line during World War I in 1917, a conflict shaped by the spread of trench warfare that changed modern war. This image shows the discipline and endurance of the fighters in a scene of destruction, reflecting the lasting impact of the war on military strategy. World War I intensified the use of military aircraft, and by 1915, biplanes already dominated the skies of conflict. Pilots with gear such as leather hoods and goggles faced early air combat, expanding the importance of aviation in military strategy and changing modern warfare forever. The gathering of native people on the Great Plains in 1890 reflects a critical moment after the Wounded Knee episode, which marked the end of the major indigenous conflicts in the United States. This scene symbolizes cultural resistance in the face of American expansion, showing the impact of assimilation and removal policies on these communities. Al Capone, a famous figure from the American underworld of the Prohibition era, appears in one of the last photographs taken in Miami on Christmas 1946, shortly before dying from complications of an infection acquired in the 1920s and left untreated out of embarrassment. 3 archers practice Kyudo, a Japanese martial art focused on archery, in 1890 during Japan's transition into the Meiji era. This period marked the country's modernization, but also the preservation of traditions that strengthened cultural identity, such as samurai practices. It represented a balance between tradition and innovation. The BMW Isetta, popular in the 1950s, symbolized urban mobility during post-World War II reconstruction, with a compact design made to help traffic in growing cities. Its production reflected Europe's effort to restart the economy with innovations that prioritized efficiency and affordability. Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman in space when she launched on the Vostok 6 mission in June 1963, a historic milestone in the space race during the Cold War. Her mission proved that women could endure the demands of orbital flight, expanding women's role in space science and technology. It became a symbol of progress and equality in the aerospace field. Muhammad Ali won the gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the Rome Olympics in 1960, a milestone that launched his brilliant professional boxing career. This victory not only lifted him to stardom, but also symbolized the rise of an icon who would influence sports and social issues in the following decades. Peter Cushing, Carrie Fisher, and David Prowse were involved in the production of Star Wars, the film directed by George Lucas that premiered on May 25, 1977. The work became a milestone in cinema, revolutionizing special effects and launching a franchise that would deeply influence global pop culture. At the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas, Carrie Fisher watches her mother Debbie Reynolds backstage in 1963, a period marked by the peak of entertainment in the city's casinos and luxury hotels when Las Vegas was becoming the capital of show business. The scene captures an essential phase of American pop culture that would influence future generations. Leonardo DiCaprio, at 30 years old and already established as one of Hollywood's leading actors, was deeply active in the film scene in the early 2000s. This period was marked by his work in films such as The Aviator, which strengthened his international fame. Nino Munoz's photograph in Los Angeles captured this decisive phase in DiCaprio's career. Charlie Chaplin, one of the greatest icons of silent film, stood out in the 1920s with his character, the Tramp, who revolutionized comedy. By 1922, cinema had already gained enormous popularity, influencing world culture and opening the way for advances in the entertainment industry, marking the golden age of silent film. Anthony Daniels, who played the robot C-3PO, appears in a relaxed moment on set during the early filming of Star Wars in 1976, a milestone that revolutionized the film industry with innovative special effects and epic storytelling, creating a global cultural phenomenon that would influence future generations in entertainment. The scene refers to the film The Empire Strikes Back, released in 1980, a cinema milestone that raised the storytelling and technical quality of the Star Wars franchise. This work strengthened futuristic visual and thematic elements that deeply influenced pop culture and the global entertainment industry in the following decades, reinforcing the impact of science fiction. The meeting between Alain Delon and Romy Schneider at the Théâtre de Paris in 1961 symbolizes the connection between film and theater in 20th century France. Their presence in this setting highlighted the cultural expansion of the time, important to the growth of dramatic arts and European cinema. This moment stands as a landmark of artistic culture. French film celebrities of the 1960s, such as Brigitte Bardot and Alain Delon, led a period of major cultural influence in Europe, marked by freedom of style and expression. The decade stood out for a revolution in customs and fashion, which led to deep transformations in music, film, and society. Brigitte Bardot stood out as a cultural icon and symbol of female freedom when she emerged in 1950s France, a period marked by post-war rebuilding and social change. Her career pushed changes in film and fashion, influencing generations and challenging the strict standards of the time with her unique style. Mahatma Gandhi's participation in the Second Round Table Conference in London in 1931 marked a crucial advance for India's independence movement, because it allowed his ideas of peaceful resistance to be heard directly by the British government. Wanrong, the last empress of China, posed in royal clothing in 1922, a moment that highlights the transition from the old imperial system to the republic. The preservation of this unique image shows the culture and power of the Qing dynasty just before it dissolved, symbolizing the loss of monarchy and the country's modernization. A worker examines a camera lens at the Nikon factory in Tokyo in 1952, a period when Japan was rebuilding its industry after World War II. This industrial recovery was crucial in turning the country into a global leader in optical and electronic technology in the following decades. Pablo Picasso lived in Paris when Cubism was revolutionizing modern art, especially during the difficult years of World War II. His work deeply influenced European culture, marking a transformation in artistic expression and strengthening cultural identity, even during times of intense conflict. Dubai experienced an impressive urban transformation from 1981, when skyscrapers began shaping its desert skyline. This growth marked the height of economic development, pushing the destination into a global center of trade and tourism and establishing the city as a symbol of modernity and innovation in the Middle East. The creation of the character Kermit in 1955 marked the beginning of a revolution in children's television by introducing puppets that combined entertainment and social awareness. The innovation of bringing life and personality to these figures was fundamental to the success of Broadway and Sesame Street, influencing future generations. Brooklyn Supreme, a giant horse standing about 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing about 3,197 pounds, marked the 1930s as the largest ever recorded. This era, with strong industrial and social development, celebrated such animals as symbols of strength and rural labor essential to the economy before full agricultural mechanization. The young woman who, in the 1970s, teased a royal guard with her carefree attitude reflected the cultural changes of the time in Sweden, when social movements challenged strict traditions. This moment symbolizes growing individual freedom and resistance to established authority. The M497 Black Beetle train, equipped with jet engines, set the American rail speed record in 1966, reaching 183 miles per hour. This innovation marked a pioneering attempt to modernize rail transportation, highlighting the search for greater speed and efficiency in the United States. The 1973 oil crisis caused severe gasoline shortages and transportation disruptions, leading families in the Netherlands to have picnics on the shoulders of quiet highways. This event exposed global energy dependence and accelerated strategies for diversifying energy sources and improving efficiency. Young private school students ride the New York subway during a moment of cultural and social energy shaped by urban expression. The graffiti visible on the subway car represents the counterculture of the 1970s, when artistic expression appeared in public spaces and gave voice to new youth movements. Female office workers in London show the fashions of 1966, including miniskirts and tall boots that symbolize the decade's cultural revolution. This style reflected women's liberation and pushed social change, combining fashion innovation with the transformation of urban and professional life. Claude Monet and his wife Alice reflect the style and social customs of the early 20th century, a time marked by Impressionism and deep transformations in the arts. This period helped establish new forms of artistic expression that influenced future generations in the cultural landscape. Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm stood out by recording and popularizing traditional tales in the 19th century, strengthening the collection Grimm's Fairy Tales in 1847. Their work deeply influenced children's literature and Western folklore, preserving oral stories that still shape culture and popular imagination today. Case Study House No. 22 in Los Angeles, completed in 1960, represents a milestone of the American modernist movement, which valued the use of steel and glass to connect indoor and outdoor spaces. This innovative architecture influenced urban housing by promoting open spaces and functional simplicity in everyday life. Paris in 1912 displayed the Eiffel Tower as a symbol of modernity that began with its opening in 1889 during the World's Fair. This structure transformed the city's skyline and influenced European technological and cultural expansion, establishing Paris as a center of innovation and art in that fascinating period. The construction of the United States Capitol Dome in 1857 represented a milestone in American neoclassical architecture, symbolizing the growth and stability of the young nation. This work expanded the original building, reflecting the growing role of Congress in the federal government and the importance of Republican democracy at the time. The imperial ramp that connected the emperor's palace to the Forum symbolizes the grandeur of Roman urban planning in the 1st century Common Era during the Empire. This 10-story structure gave the emperor direct access to the political center, reinforcing his power and control over public and administrative life. During the construction of County Hall on the south bank of the Thames in 1910, the remains of a Roman ship buried in mud were found, revealing the historic Roman presence in London. This discovery contributed to the understanding of Roman occupation and the river's strategic importance for ancient transportation and trade. The Saint Lazare Church in Avallon, built in the 12th century, is a striking example of the Romanesque style, marked by columns with capitals decorated with plant and interlaced patterns. This medieval architecture greatly influenced European art and culture, establishing religious structures that stand the test of time. Prospectors headed to Dawson City in 1898, drawn by the Yukon Gold Rush, a phenomenon that turned this remote region of Canada into a center of wealth and migration. The rush boosted urban and commercial development, marking an era of intense exploration and adventure in the late 19th century. Workers trimmed the world's largest yew hedge, grown on the Bathurst estate in the Cotswolds, England. Planted in 1720 by the first Earl of Bathurst, this botanical landmark represents centuries of aristocratic landscape care. In 1962, its maintenance preserved an important historic tradition. The photographic record of an inmate in Omaha, Nebraska, on February 8, 1961, illustrates the American police system of the era, when public concern was growing over the fight against organized crime and urban violence. This period marked the strengthening of investigative techniques and the use of card files for identification, contributing to the modernization of criminal justice in the United States. In Quartzburg, Idaho, in 1890, residents and visitors pose in front of the Quartzburg Hotel in a scene that brings together men, women, and children at the building's entrance. The photo records the social life of a small community in the American West. The portrait also helps show clothing, public gathering, and local architecture. In Rwanda, at the start of the 20th century, a portrait records a man with a traditional hairstyle tied to local identity and customs. The photograph helps show forms of personal care, social distinction, and style in the region. Images like this preserve African cultural references rarely documented in that period. Three women pose in Marshall, Texas in 1899, a time marked by the growth of cities in the southern United States after Reconstruction. The end of the 19th century brought advances in industrialization, but social and racial inequalities persisted, reflecting tensions that would influence the 20th century. The fashion and architecture highlight the rural Victorian style typical of the period. The popularity of the Mini reflected British urban culture in the 1970s, combining practicality with youthful style. Actress Jenny Clare poses with her car in London, showing the fashion of the time marked by short skirts and strappy shoes, symbolizing a period of social and cultural change in England. Well-dressed passengers aboard a German Fokker airplane reflect the progress of commercial aviation in the 1920s, a period when passenger flights began to gain popularity and made once limited travel easier. The expansion of these routes marked an important innovation in communication between cities and countries, transforming international mobility. Aviation in the 1920s represented a milestone in transportation history by connecting continents and boosting the global economy. Companies such as Lufthansa, founded in 1926, pioneered the development of commercial air routes, promoting the growth of civil aviation and changing human mobility forever. The Kuba Comet home entertainment system, made in West Germany between 1957 and 1962, reflected post-war technological modernization and the growing consumption of electronic devices in European homes. This innovation helped make television more accessible during a period of rapid cultural expansion. The presence of an automatic tap, labeled Wilson's Draft Bitter, points to the growth of urban English pub culture in the mid-20th century, when industrialization pushed modern machines to serve drinks quickly. This reflected social changes with greater access to public places for leisure and gathering. James A. Craig brought innovation by demonstrating a fully automatic telephone system in a car dashboard in the 1950s, when the auto industry was trying to integrate new technologies to make communication easier. This development foreshadowed today's common mobile connectivity systems, influencing communication on the move. The pedal toy car, typical of 1922, reflects the growing influence of the automobile industry on everyday life and children's play in the early 20th century. This period was marked by the popularization of cars, which became symbols of progress and modernity, shaping children's culture and toy design. An undercover police officer worked in the Brooklyn borough in July 1969, a period marked by social tensions and cultural change in the United States. That year was crucial because of the moon landing, an event that symbolized technological progress and influenced the strengthening of internal security in large cities under intense surveillance. Children playing in the streets of New York reflect urban life in the 1960s, a period marked by social and cultural change in the United States. The decade saw the growth of the middle class and the impact of the civil rights movement, which sought racial equality and deeply influenced city life and culture. Soviet residents enjoy leisure moments along the banks of the Moscow River in June 1928, a period marked by the implementation of the first five-year plan, which sought to modernize the Soviet economy and strengthen state power. This context reflected the transition from a rural society to an industrialized one, affecting everyday life and urban spaces. New Year celebrations in Times Square, New York, in 1938 symbolized the return of optimism after the Great Depression. Thousands celebrated in formal clothing, reflecting the desire for social recovery. This event strengthened Times Square as the center of festivities and American popular culture. Christmas shopping at Roosevelt Field Mall in Garden City in 1982 reflected the peak of the consumer economy of the 1980s, marked by the expansion of large shopping malls and the strengthening of retail. This trend drove cultural and social changes in the ways people consumed and spent leisure time. Veterinarian Bruce Blair treated his first patient at the Women's League for Animals in New York in 1914, a period when advances in veterinary medicine were beginning to professionalize animal care in the United States. This pioneering initiative helped raise the value of animal health and awareness of welfare. Workers built the East Boston Subway Tunnel on July 25, 1900, a project that symbolizes the advance of public transportation in the United States. The combination of human labor and animal power shows the technological transition before full mechanization. This project improved urban mobility and boosted the region's economic growth. In the early 20th century, American agriculture was undergoing a major transformation through mechanization, shown by a grain thresher powered by 30 horses, strengthening farm productivity in Washington in 1912. This innovation foreshadowed agricultural modernization, increasing efficiency and encouraging rural economic progress. Women involved in the selective collection of recyclable materials show a practice already present in urban communities in the first decades of the 20th century. The organized sorting of paper, cans, and bottles played an important role in reducing waste and served as an early step toward modern environmental programs. Children at Morgan Hill School in California salute the American flag in the 1930s, a period marked by the Great Depression. Education reinforced patriotic values, preparing young people to overcome social and economic challenges and helping national unity during the global crisis. The United States Capitol building, at the center of the country's politics, witnessed major transformations during the 1870s, a period marked by Reconstruction after the Civil War. This phase shaped civil rights and national reorganization, strengthening American democracy and federalism amid deep social and political tensions. Jose and Joe Clark returned from a successful hunt in 1871, carrying moose meat on their pack animals. This activity was vital to survival and the economy in the temperate regions of North America, marking an important stage in the exploration and settlement of the territory throughout the 19th century. Street vendors in New York helped drive the growing urban economy of the late 19th century, when the city was becoming a global financial center. In 1896, the presence of these workers reflected the social transformation caused by industrialization and mass immigration, which shaped everyday life. A man crosses a flooded area on the Mall in London using 2 chairs for support, a scene typical of heavy rains that caused urban flooding in the 1930s. This period was marked by challenges in city infrastructure, showing the need for investment in drainage systems to prevent damage and social disruption. A long line of freight oxen crossed the hills toward the Black Hills, marking the last major transport of this kind toward the railroad in 1890. This event symbolizes the end of an era in the rural transportation economy as it was replaced by motor vehicles and more modern railroads. Workers used the Lion Well in the early 20th century for manual water extraction, essential to urban and industrial activities in emerging cities. This rough system reflected the lack of modern infrastructure, whose expansion would become vital to urban development and public health. Tea experts from the United States met on February 17, 1947, to define standards regulating the import of the drink, marking the first meeting of this kind since 1942. This initiative reflected the return of post-World War II international trade, seeking to ensure quality and safety for consumers. Albert Einstein visited India in 1922 during a tour that aimed to promote science and world peace. This meeting with indigenous people reveals the physicist's interest in cultural diversity and traditional knowledge, showing his commitment to dialogue between science and different cultures during a period of intense global change. Workers on New York skyscrapers during the 1930s represent the human strength behind the city's vertical expansion, a crucial mark of the Industrial Revolution. This high-rise construction allowed rapid urban and economic growth, transforming the metropolis skyline. Motorcycle police officers line up for inspection in Los Angeles, highlighting the Harley-Davidson motorcycles used in 1949. This model became a symbol of urban mobility and police efficiency after World War II, influencing the modernization of security forces in the United States. Don Knotts, a well-known actor from the 1950s and 1960s, appears beside a simple go-kart-style racing cart, reflecting the growing interest in leisure vehicles at the time. This popular hobby marked a phase when entertainment and model car culture became symbols of American life. Muhammad, a blind Muslim man, carries his paralyzed friend Samir in Damascus, with the Ottoman Empire as the setting in 1889. This companionship illustrates the complex social and religious relationships of the time, where solidarity between different communities reflected daily life before the transformations of the 20th century. Stefan, a Hungarian engineer, developed a machine in 1935 that supposedly made people and objects invisible, an invention that symbolized the era's fascination with bold technological advances, despite its experimental nature. This interest reflected the belief in technology's power to transform the perception of reality and everyday life. The photograph shows China in 1930, highlighting the traditional architecture of the Zhengyu Hill Temple and a man wearing typical clothing of the time. This period came before the Second Sino-Japanese War, a crucial moment that influenced modernization and social changes in the country. In the tense atmosphere of October 1936, East London reflected European instability, driven by the Spanish Civil War and the rise of radical political movements. The city captured public anxiety over the advance of authoritarian ideologies, marking the beginning of a major social and political transformation that would also affect the United Kingdom. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.